Hey everybody, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to give you my thoughts on WWE TLC 2015. Overall, I thought TLC was a very entertaining show, way better than Survivor Series, largely due to the tag team title match, which I'll get to in a few minutes here. The show started off with the pre-show match, which was Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. You had Team Bad coming out and basically trying to act like the female version of the New Day, but didn't really quite work out. In my opinion, it wasn't funny, it wasn't entertaining. They were singing the 12 Days of Christmas, and I thought it was just annoying. You had Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, which was a good match. Crowd liked Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks won with interference from Team Bad, of course. During the pre-show, there was a problem with the WWE Network feed. A lot of people were having issues. The network went down for most people for about a 15-20 minute period, and then it went back to normal. During the entire pay-per-view, I did not have any issues with the network feed, so that's a positive. Anyways, let's get to the main pay-per-view here. We kicked off with a tag team title ladder match, the New Day versus the Usos and the Lucha Dragons, and this was just an incredible spectacle. This was basically a modern day version of the Hardys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian. You had tons of crazy spots. I mean, it was insane. They were doing things that were very dangerous. Too many moments to really describe. I mean, it was just a spot fest, a spectacle, but everything looked really good. And they did a lot of unique and innovative moves that they haven't done in previous TLC matches, which is one thing that I really liked about it. The highlight was Kalisto doing the Salida del Sol off the top of the ladder on the Uso through another ladder. And that was just sick. I mean, maybe the sickest spot on a WWE pay-per-view in the entire year 2015. I mean, this was one of the best ladder matches in years in WWE. It was just so much fun to watch, and everybody looked great. I mean, really a perfect match, and I love the ending. You had Xavier literally throwing the trombone at Kalisto as he's climbing up the ladder. I thought that that was great. And then Kofi knocks Kalisto off the ladder and climbs up, and New Day retains the titles, which I expected, and I felt they should have retained the titles. This was awesome. Really enjoyed this match, and this was a match that's definitely worthy of the This Is Awesome chance, and if you haven't seen the match, you definitely need to check it out. It's worth repeat viewings. I mean, it was really as close to a perfect ladder match as you can ask for. And then, of course, the show was bound to go downhill. Next up, you had Ryback versus Rusev, which was essentially just a Raw quality match. And it was filler. I mean, it is what it is. Following the ladder match, you're not going to have anything spectacular. Follow that. You had a moment where Ryback got pushed into Lana by Rusev, and Lana was acting like she got hurt really badly, but her acting was just so over the top, and Ryback fell for it. Once again, he falls for Lana's acting, even though her acting is terrible, and one would think he would see right through it. But he's a big dummy, and Rusev outsmarted him and won the match, and that was it. And my guess is Ryback will probably get his win back on Raw or SmackDown, whatever. He passed out to the Accolade. And then you had Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio. This actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting going in. I thought it was a fairly decent chairs match. Unfortunately, the crowd did not care about it too much. And the one issue I had is that the chairs, they seemed like they were really hollow. I mean, I'm sure it's the chairs they usually use, but it seemed like from the sounds that those chairs were like these plastic chairs that maybe weighed less than a pound. I mean, that was my only real complaint about this match, but I thought it was pretty good for a chairs match. I mean, it's hard to have a really good chairs match in this day and age. You had CM Punk chants during this match, so that just goes to show into this the crowd was. Del Rio did the double foot stomp with the chairs underneath, and that was how he won the match. And then you had the the tag team tables match with Team ECW or Team TNA, whatever you want to call them, against the Wyatt family, and lots of ECW chants. The Wyatt family won, as I felt they should. Wyatt family needed a big win here, and they got it. A funny moment when Tommy Dreamer had a cheese grater and he used it on Braun Strowman's balls. That was a funny moment. And then they buried Strowman underneath a bunch of tables. And then Bubba was the last man on his team, and he went under the ring and grabbed lighter fluid. He brought the lighter fluid in the ring and poured it on a table, and for a moment it looked like we were going to get a flaming table spot, but no, before the table could be lit on fire, Bubba got power bombed or slammed through the table, and the Wyatt family won. So essentially it was a dick tease. The fans thought they were going to see fire, but nope, no fire. Still, it was a good match. I mean, it was hard to follow, and hard to follow the opener. And then you had Kevin Owens defending the IC title against Dean Ambrose. Another good match here. Once again, hard to follow the opener, and hard to follow matches with stipulations. They're going out there having a regular match. Still pretty good stuff. At one point, you had Kevin Owens almost getting pinned from the Dirty Deeds, but he was able to literally get one finger on the ropes, and the referee stopped the count. But I think they screwed it up. The referee stopped the count before Owens was able to touch the rope. So a little bit of a miscue there. And then you had Kevin Owens go for the pop-up powerbomb. Dean Ambrose countered it and was able to pin Kevin Owens and become the new United States champion. And I like the fact that Dean Ambrose got a nice victory celebration afterwards. It's not like they cut away right away to a video package or something. He actually got a few minutes to celebrate as the new champion. I thought that was cool, and that's something that elevates the title. I thought this was well done. Dean Ambrose, new IC champion. We'll see where things go with that, and we'll see what happens next with Kevin Owens. A lot of speculation going around regarding what his future is. Then you had Charlotte versus Paige. Basically, this was a double turn. I mean, it was clear that was the direction coming off of Raw, but then again, it wasn't really all that clear. Charlotte was definitely acting like the heel in this match, no doubt about it. You had Ric Flair on the outside messing around with the turnbuckle padding. And then you had a moment where Paige had the match won, but Ric Flair put the foot on the bottom rope. And then you had Charlotte send Paige into the exposed turnbuckle, and she got the win. So she is now a full-fledged heel, and I guess Paige is a babyface. Wish they had done this a little bit better with the whole storyline in general, so it would have been clear what was going on. But yes, Charlotte's now officially a heel, and I guess Paige is officially a babyface, and I guess Charlotte versus Becky is the next match for the Divas title. And then you had the main event. John Cena versus Sheamus, Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. I mentioned John Cena because right when the match started, the fans were chanting for John Cena. That's how much they hated Roman Reigns up to this point. They were chanting for John Cena. Earlier in the show, they were chanting for CM Punk. They also chanted for Seth Rollins, saying, "We miss Rollins," during this match. It's too bad because Sheamus and Reigns were actually having a pretty good TLC match, but the crowd did not care. They were dead for most of this match. They did some cool stuff. Reigns got slammed through the tables a couple of times. Reigns threw Sheamus through the ladders and the tables that were set up at the entranceway. And at one point, Roman Reigns did a Samoan drop with Sheamus through the ladder off the apron. That was a cool moment. And Roman Reigns did a Superman punch with a chair. He did a Superman punch on the top of the ladder, knocking Sheamus through a table. And then at that point, you had the League of Nations come out. I was expecting a screw job finish, and sure enough, League of Nations comes out. And no sign of Dean Ambrose, by the way. You would think, once again, where is Roman Reigns' best friend? Knowing that the League of Nations exists and that Sheamus might have his henchmen come out, where the hell was Dean Ambrose? This was the one big logic hole. Same thing at Survivor Series. Where the hell is this guy? WWE makes such a big deal out of these guys being best friends, and he's nowhere to be seen. You know, you can argue that the Usos were beat up so badly they could not come out, but, you know, it just doesn't make sense. You have these heels out here. Where are Roman's allies? Where is his family, as he calls them? So that was the one thing that really bothered me about this, but, you know, the post-match is what everybody's talking about. Afterwards, Roman Reigns did a spear on Wade Barrett and Rusev as they were holding up Sheamus, and then Reigns grabbed the chair, beat the crap out of them. At this point, Triple H came out. I guess this really pissed him off. Triple H was angry. He was yelling at Reigns to stop. Reigns decides to hell with it. He gives Triple H the Superman punch, beats the crap out of him with a steel chair. He puts Triple H through a table with a powerbomb. Actually, not through the table. The table did not break. And then you had Roman Reigns get on top of the other announce table and do an elbow, which did break the table. And meanwhile, Stephanie was screaming. She was really upset. She was selling it like Triple H was being murdered here. This felt like WWE's effort to turn Roman Reigns into Stone Cold. Trying to turn him into Daniel Bryan didn't seem to work. So now he's Austin. He's the guy that's rebelling against the boss. He's crossing the boss. He's going to get fired now. And, you know, to be fair, this worked because the crowd was cheering Roman Reigns for the most part at the end of this segment. Now, time will tell if this lasts long term, but this is the direction they should have been going with Roman Reigns a long time ago, at least a year ago. He should be going out there and just kicking ass and raising hell instead of coming out and talking about tater tots and talking about fairy tales, Jack and the Beanstalk. He should have just been going out there and just destroying people and defying people and doing whatever the hell he wants to do. So this was a good angle to close off the show. At least there's something to talk about now and something for people to be interested in turning in Raw for, to see what happens next in this Roman Reigns Triple H saga. So we'll see what happens with that. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the pay-per-view, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WWE TLC.